Anybody here from Ohio?
Buckeye Lake, sir?
Cincinnati, sir.
Naval Heights, sir.
Tippecanoe City, sir.
I'm from Chillicothe. Any of you men Lutherans?
Here, sir.
Here, sir.
I am, sir.
My wife is, sir.
So am I. But these services aren't just for Lutherans any more than they're just for men from Ohio. I merely happen to be in your area. In other areas are other chaplains of various denominations and religions. All of us Holy Joes are switch hitters. Earlier this month in Holland, I held Hanukkah services for some of the men of the Jewish faith. How did I do, Levenstein?
Not bad for a beginner, sir.
Well, now it's nearly Christmas. And here we are in beautiful Bastogne enjoying the winter sports. And the $64 question is, was this trip necessary? I'll try to answer that. But my sermons, like everything else in the Army, depend on the situation and the terrain. So I assure you this is going to be a quickie. Was this trip necessary? Well, let's look at the facts. Nobody wanted this war but the Nazis. A great many people tried to deal with them, and a lot of them are dead. Millions have died for no other reason except that the Nazis wanted them dead. So, in the final showdown, there was nothing left to do except fight. There's a great lesson in this. And those of us who've learned it the hard way aren't going to forget it. We must never again let any force dedicated to a super race or a super idea or a super anything become strong enough to impose itself upon a free world. We must be smart enough and tough enough in the beginning to put out the fire before it starts spreading. So my answer to the $64 question is, yes, this trip was necessary. As the years go by, a lot of people are going to forget, but you won't. And don't ever let anybody tell you you were a sucker to fight in the war against fascism. And now, Jerry permitting, let us pray. Let us pray for this fog to lift. Almighty God, the organist is hitting those bass notes a little too loud for me to be heard. So let us each pray in his own way, to his own God.
Take William Wellman. In his career, he did 81 feature films. Now, among those were the first film that won Best Picture of the Year, Wings, phenomenal First World War air movie. He did Public Enemy, gangster film, which really made a star out of James Cagney. Along the way, he did win an Oscar, but for writing. He did the original Star is Born, which he also directed.
That's right.
Nothing Sacred, which is one of the great screwball comedies. One of the great adventure films, Beau Geste with Gary Cooper. He did two great Westerns, Oxbow Incident and Yellow Sky, and two phenomenal war movies, The Story of G.I. Joe and Battleground. And those are great films among the 81 that he did.
I'll read it to you. My dear wife, Mr. Davies will tell you what's happening here tonight. He's a good man and has done everything he can for me. I suppose there's some other good men here, too, only they don't seem to realize what they're doing. They're the ones I feel sorry for, because it'll be over for me in a little while, but they'll have to go on remembering for the rest of their lives. Man just naturally can't take the law into his own hands and hang people without hurting everybody in the world, Because then he's just not breaking one law, but all laws. Law's a lot more than words you put in a book, or judges or lawyers or sheriffs you hire to carry it out. It's everything people ever have found out about justice and what's right and wrong. It's the very conscience of humanity. There can't be any such thing as civilization unless people have a conscience. Because if people touch God anywhere, where is it except through their conscience? And what is anybody's conscience except a little piece of the conscience of all men that ever lived? I guess that's all I got to say, except kiss the babies for me and God bless you. Your husband, Donald.
Let's talk Wellman for a second, because Wellman was an impressive human being. He was a World War I veteran. He actually joined the French Foreign Legion and flew in their Air Corps and was a combat pilot. So with the idea of doing Wings, which was nominated and won Best Picture back in the day, and him doing Beau Geste, both those projects seemed like perfect fits based on his experience. And undoubtedly the studio probably recognized he had merit with those two scripts, wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he went through hell making Wings. I mean, it just went over budget and over schedule, and they were going to pull a plug on it. But he was known as Wild Bill Wellman. I mean, he really fought for his projects, and they're all very individual projects. More than any other studio director, he was the one that was a maverick, sort of an outsider who pretty much got his way, and if he didn't, he let people know about it.
Hi, this is Bill Daly. Please help me find a cure for NMOSD, and with it possibly cancer. Visit the Guthrie Jackson Foundation website and donate today.